Quick. What's the diameter of the Earth? Don't know that one? How about the distance from Earth to the Sun? Don't know that one either? Let's go smaller. How about the diameter of an atom? Maybe an atom of helium. No? Don't know that one? How about the nucleus? Go even smaller. How about the proton or neutron? Don't know those off the top of your head? Well, you better. Especially if you want to understand why we use the powers of 10. Okay, the powers of 10 are just a way for us to use the knowledge of the number 10 and zeros and exponents to write really large numbers or really small numbers. All right? So, if we just explore 10 to an exponent, we're going to start to see some patterns. All right? We already know that 10 to the 0 power is 1. All right? Because anything to the 0 power is 1. All right? And the exponent there is 0, so the product is 1. And if you haven't started yet already, you got to go ahead and turn to page R16 in your notes. All right, and start copying down what I have, because this chart is on R16. All right. Now, 10 to the first power, we know, and if you need a calculator, you can go ahead and get a calculator and do it, but 10 to the first power, we know, is 10 in expanded form. So if the exponent is 1, our product, or answer, is 10. And notice how we just took the 1 from above and added 1 0. Maybe that's going to be the pattern. Let's see. 10 squared. Anything squared is 10 times itself, 10. All right, so if the exponent is 2, 10 times 10 is 100. Look at that. It's 1 with 2 zeros. If we continue the pattern, 10 to the third power is 10 times 10 times 10. If the exponent was 3, then the product would be 1 with 3 zeros. Do you see the pattern? You could probably fill out the rest of this chart on your own, and I'm going to go ahead and let you do that. All right? But what we do here is we use our knowledge of 10 to a power to write less zeros. Because as we get really large down here, you're going to get sick and tired of writing 0, 0, 0, 0. So it's a whole lot easier to write 10 to the 8th power than it is to write a 1 with 8 zeros. All right, it's how scientists do it, it's how mathematicians do it, so why not start now in 7th grade? So this is all review from last year. But let's take a look at what happens when we go into the negative. All right, if we start using negative exponents, because that's going to be new. All right, if you read your notes, it says anything, negative means opposite. All right, so if we were going and adding zeros to the right with positive exponents, why don't we go ahead and move the decimal the other direction and add zeros to the left with our negative exponent? So let's take a look at that. 10 to the 0 powers once again. Yep, that's right, 1. So if the exponent is 0, the product is 1. Okay? So let's go ahead and look at 10 to the negative 1. All right? Well, I know that this is 10 to the negative 1. I'm going to go work to the left, so I'm thinking that I got to move my decimal one place to the left and put a 0. So I'm going to say 0.1. All right? I'm thinking of the pattern. So if my exponent is negative 1, I've got 0.1. Go ahead and say this decimal to me. And no, don't say 0.1. Say, that's right, 1/10. So I'm going to write that as a fraction. All right? So it's 1/10. If I go down here and I say 10 to the negative 2, all right, that's like saying 1/10 times 1/10, which is, if my exponent is negative 2, is 1 over 100, which is 1/100th, 0.01, 1/100th. So I continue the pattern. 10 to the negative 3 is 1 over 10 times 1 over 10 times 1 over 10. To the negative third power, we get 0.001. Notice how there's 1, 2, 3 zeros to the left of the 1. You got to make sure you have that decimal point, though, in the right spot. All right? If you don't have it in the right spot, you're absolutely wrong. Go ahead and fill in the rest with the pattern, same pattern. All right? You can go ahead and write these as fractions by themselves, not in expanded form. So let's talk about the first one here, the first two. All right? We know that 0.1 is 1/10, which we just talked about. 0.01 is 1/100th, so we write that as a fraction. 0.001 we said is 1/1000th, 1 over 1,000. So go ahead, it says in your notes to go ahead and create a fifth column and fill in those fractions as you create the pattern. All right? Go ahead and fill out the rest on your own. If you have any questions, we're probably going to go over it in class. So we'll see you next time.